Good morning, everyone. First of all, welcome to our first webinar of our autumn-winter series of Skipton Talks. My name is Derek Adams. I'm the National Account Lead for Skipton Building Society for Intermediaries. And first of all, thank you for taking time out of your day this morning to join us as Skipton Talks Technology. And I hope that you will get some value for joining us for half an hour this morning. I'm delighted to be joined by Chris Wainwright, Mortgage Product Owner for Skipton Building Society, and Nathan Reilly, Director of Lender Relationships at 27 Tech. Chris, as Product Owner, is responsible for all mortgage-related change, all our mortgage journeys, the delivery of our mortgage tech initiatives, and basically shaping and delivering our SBS mortgage strategy. So I would argue there's no one closer to what we're doing with regards to technology and our mortgage journey. And Nathan probably feels longer, but Nathan's been with 27 Tech for a couple of years now, working with lenders on their helping with their proposition. And for those that may not know, Nathan previously was with Mortgage Intelligence, again as Lender Relationship Manager. So Nathan's able to bring, I suppose, the technology side of it, but see it through a broker lens. So looking forward to hearing Nathan also. Just a bit of housekeeping from myself before we hand over to Chris. With the number of people that are on our Skipton Talks, we do mute your microphone. But Chris and Nathan have left a bit of time at the end of their presentation for a bit of a Q&A. So we'd encourage you, if you do have questions or any feedback on what you hear this morning, use the chat box to either raise questions or provide us with some feedback on the topic. If someone also asks a question that you're interested in, you can also like that question, and hopefully that will give us a bit of priority of the questions that we have time for at the end of our discussion. So without much further ado from myself, I'm going to hand over now to Chris. Morning, Chris.
Morning, Derek, and thank you. Welcome, everybody. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit today about Skipton's technology strategy. I'm really going to try and focus in on the so what. I think quite often when I've attended technical digital kind of presentations, it can become quite techy in terms of its speak, lots of acronyms, and what's important in this, I believe, is the value that it creates. So we embrace technology and we embrace digital for an end cause. And that end cause for us is around creating value for brokers' employees, and really importantly, creating value for our customers. And over the last 2 to 3 years, we've invested huge amounts in kind of mortgage transformation here at Skipton, and we'll continue to do that over the coming years. You know, we're a broker-led lender, so it's really important to us that we respond to sort of broker feedback, and we've spent quite a lot of time going out and talking to brokers face to face to understand what it is that we think that they need, and in turn we try to respond to that. So we'll talk to you about some of the individual technology initiatives today, but I thought I'd start by just sharing some of our views on kind of what is shaping the technology landscape, and how we and the broader market have responded to that. Now, it might seem a little bit strange, but I'm going to start by talking about people. And for us, a digital technology transformation strategy is about achieving the blend of the value that people bring, but also the value that kind of technology and automation brings too. And you all know us really quite well, I'm sure, but we talk passionately and have done for years and will continue to around the value of kind of real life lending, giving access to our broker community and our customers to kind of pragmatic decision making, sort of support from people when it is needed, and we will absolutely continue to do that. But what we're able to do through the adoption of kind of tech and digitization is remove those kind of low value add actions and activities which people currently have to do. We're able to automate those and use data to make things move faster. And in turn, that means we can then use and deploy our people to have more value add interactions, and nurture the relationships, which I think is the differentiating factor, and makes a real difference. But The mortgage world and the world of technology has changed so significantly over the last few years. Not at least in the last 2 years, as COVID has kind of gripped us all. We've seen some real behavioural shifts in consumers. Digital distribution continues to move forward at an absolute pace. But a couple of the driving factors behind technology strategy is connectivity and data sharing, and this is something which we're going to be talking to you about today. And the relationship between the different compartmentalized parts of the mortgage value stream is absolutely key. So whether it's the estate agent and the solicitor, or the solicitor liaising with the lender, or the CRM system of the distributor talking to the sourcing platform through to the lender, it doesn't matter. The point is, there is a huge opportunity here for us to create for aligned connectivity between all those component parts, removing the need for sort of duplication of effort, creating brokeries and frictionless journeys. And whilst kind of we can do our part here at Skipton, and many lenders are doing similar things, the real opportunity here is in aligning kind of the end-to-end value stream to enable the customer or the broker to just do it once, and that's what we're going to talk to you about today. So it's really important that we go where the opportunity and the energy is, and what we mean by that is responding to broker insight, responding to customer feedback, and understanding what it is that's important to them. We need to innovate and use technology to remain relevant, not only to maintain market share, but for a lender like ourselves, who are really passionate about continuing to grow our market share and become a top 10 lender. We've got to be you've got to be an adopter of technology. You have to try new things, be willing to sometimes fail and say we got that wrong, but equally sort of embrace new opportunities. And by using digital and by using technology, it in turn allows us to do two things: amplify and accelerate. It allows us to get our message out into the market faster and into the right places, educating and engaging brokers. But it allows us to make more accurate decisions at point of sale, and able to maintain and grow service standards. So what does all that mean? If you could have the next slide, please. By embracing digital and using technology, it allows us to deliver these capabilities and stand up to our principles. So when we talk about it starting with a yes, that's more than just a mindset. Of course, we want to adopt a yes positive mindset in regards to the relationships we have with brokers and the applications which we receive from you. But the use of technology and data allows us to validate your applications faster, sometimes at point of sale, as it comes through at FMA, and we're able to do that instantaneously, creating more confidence for our broker community in the decisions which we make, but more confidence for our customers as well. And we really believe that brokers and customers should have a choice of journeys, ranging from a fully self-serve through to fully assisted, if that's important to you, understanding people's accessibility needs. But then there'll also be that middle ground where sometimes you want to be able to do something yourself, but you might get stuck, the customer might get stuck, and they need us to help. So digital and technology allows us to facilitate journeys in different ways and create choice, and that helps grow service standards and raise the bar. And that's a really important point, actually. Customers and brokers have got more information and more choice to them than what they ever have before. They're empowered through the information in the World Wide Web to make informed choices. And I do believe that kind of customers will vote with their feet. If they don't have available to them the types of journeys that they want, and we don't maintain those relationships with them, they will go elsewhere. And by using technology, we're able to scale our service offering, and this is really important. And we've created day one servicing capability over the last couple of years. Now, that might still be only on a small number of cases, but the capability now sits there. And service, we feel really, really passionate about. And as any lender grows its volumes and grows its book, I don't believe that that should be at the compromise of service to the broker or to the customer. And certainly for those straightforward vanilla lending cases, you know, there's low LTV PAYE customers doing a remortgage. Why can't we, or why shouldn't we use technology to enable some of those decisions? Meaning that we can really quickly give a binding offer and in turn use our people to talk to you about those complex non-standard cases that need somebody to just walk through it in order to give the customer the outcome that they are looking for. And partnering with technology providers is also a real enabler, and we'll talk to you a little bit today about 27 Tech and the enhancements we'll be making with those to create kind of greater sort of brokeries. But there is absolutely an opportunity to work alongside you know, technology providers in the market and other lenders to create greater connectivity and in turn kind of more streamlined journeys. So there's a little bit on kind of our principles and our views and the theory of kind of what has changed and why. And I'm not going to talk any more about that today, but we can take any questions on that at the end. What we'd now like to do is show you a little bit about what we are working on. And as I've said previously, kind of what that means for you. So Nathan, I'll hand over to you, please.
Perfect. Thanks, Chris. Fantastic. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for letting me join you this morning. Before talking about where we've been working with Skipton and hopefully something that's very, very exciting that you'll be able to benefit from in the near future, I just wanted to give a quick overview of who 27 Tech are for those that may not use us in the market or don't currently have that awareness. Next slide, please. So 27 Tech launched in 2014, so we're still a relatively new company, but we're growing and we're growing fast. And we came to the market with a new sourcing solution across first charge, second charge and bridging. And since then, we've also extended our capability into criteria and affordability sourcing through our Source Plus module. So it is very much a one-stop shop for all of that research part of the process that you would hopefully be looking for. And over the 7 years, we've been very successful in partnering with some of the biggest intermediaries out there in the market and leading CRM players. And this year alone, we will support over 12 million mortgage searches, which shows the significance of hopefully what we're doing and the value that our users are attaining from our system. So that's kind of what I would expect you to all know about 27 Tech, but there's actually a lot more to 27 Tech than just sourcing. Next slide, please. So during our 7 years, we've realized that actually the research part of the process is quite strong. There's obviously ourselves, but other players that have built really slick journeys and really slick logic to hopefully help you identify the most appropriate product for your customer based on their circumstances. But we have identified that there are other areas of the market where hopefully technology could improve things. And out of that identification, we have really created a new mission statement for ourselves that underpins everything we do, which is we want to design and build exceptional technology that makes the process of searching, which is sourcing, applying for and obtaining a mortgage simpler, faster and more efficient. And from that, you can see that our suite of products and our platform has extended beyond just sourcing into other areas. So as it stands today, the Cloud 27 platform is there to truly support the end-to-end process, from customer engagement through to submission, and then ultimately being able to provide data out to the market to help shape what lenders are doing and to help shape what intermediaries are doing as well. Don't worry, I'm not going to talk about all these segments because we will definitely run out of time. Today, I'm very much going to focus on the apply element, so how we can help you apply for mortgages in a faster and simpler way. Next slide, please. So before going into apply and our product, I did promise Derek that I wouldn't just talk about 27 Tech. So the challenge that I am going to position today is a market challenge that other players in the market are also looking to support you with, okay? I'm going to talk about 27 Tech because that's what I know, but I'm sure your other technology providers out there in the market have very similar solutions that can also drive more efficiency for you as well, okay? Next slide, please. So Having come to market 7 years ago, like I say, we were quite surprised by how fragmented the entire mortgage process was. Actually, it tended to operate in silos because there was a lack of connectivity, which goes back to a point that Chris was making earlier. You had CRM players, sourcing players, lenders all doing their own thing, making their own improvements to their systems, but actually none of those systems were necessarily speaking to each other. We felt that actually led to a huge amount of inefficiency for advisors and became very, very time consuming because essentially you were keying data time and time again, which is what this relatively crude diagram that I created is there to demonstrate. So there was no moving data forward and no moving data back. Naturally, for advisors, that also would lead to confusion and errors. If every single journey is different, that is going to lead to some confusion because ultimately you aren't engaging with that journey every single day. And from a keying perspective, if you're keying data potentially 3, 4, 5 different times, it's inevitable that you may get a digit wrong. We again felt that technology could improve that process for you by leveraging things like APIs to move that data throughout the process. So through collaboration, which is a word that Chris has used as well, and integration, we felt we could knit this together, which is where Skipton and our collaboration with them will hopefully make a difference to intermediaries over the next X amount of years. Next slide, please. So you can see here, again, another relatively simple diagram, but you can see that what we've tried to deliver with Skipton and other lenders and what other tech providers out there in the market are also delivering is a more connected process. So leveraging integration and APIs, we feel that we can actually deliver an end-to-end process where there is one source of truth. So where you key that data first, which could be your CRM or your sourcing platform in the middle, should then power the rest of the submission process. There shouldn't be the need to rekey data multiple times. And to the same extent, once all of that data has been collected and reached the lender, they should be able to communicate back to you what that decision is, or ultimately what else they need from you to give you that decision that you and your customer need. Okay, so this is all about data and it's all about communication and making sure there's complete transparency throughout that process. Okay, for this, if you haven't got a CRM, just to make that clear, you don't need one. Your sourcing provider can hopefully give you the opportunity to bundle all of that data that you've compiled during the sourcing process to then drop it into a lender application and then pass it through to the lender. Okay, but I'm sure if you do have a CRM player and if they don't currently have APIs or connectivity, it will be on their roadmap, and I would definitely encourage you to go and speak to them about that because this area of the market is only going to increase in adoption over the next 12 to 18 months, and we're starting to see that already from our data. Next slide, please. So in terms of apply, hopefully I can show you or have shown you through what I've said that with technology, we feel we can deliver an improved and more efficient process for you as intermediaries that hopefully gives you more time to focus on giving advice, which is ultimately what intermediaries are great at. We don't want you wasting your time having to key data time and time again, having to learn different systems and different portals. Actually, as lenders, as tech providers, we should be working together to make that easier for you. And that is where we've got to with Skipton, thankfully. Just to be clear, products like Apply or modules like Apply, that they will mirror what lender portals have to offer. I think sometimes there's a nervousness surrounding technology and trying something new because actually it could be different, it could feel different, and that is a blocker to adoption. This should feel very, very similar. So if you are actually a little bit worried about trying something new, hopefully we've removed that objection for you. But I would also say just give it a try. Give it a try once. If it doesn't work, then hopefully we can work with you or your other technology provider can work with you to make sure you want to try it again. Another big point that I would also call out on here that I haven't already touched on is what about lender number 2? So in that diagram that I've already touched on, that's rekeying of data potentially 3 or 4 times. in a case that's probably quite straightforward. But how many cases are straightforward where you get that accept straight away that you're looking for? So if you don't get that accept that you're looking for straight away, you're potentially keying that data again or again. The nice thing with connectivity, APIs, and different products like Apply out there in the market is it gives you the ability to move data more easily. So you can easily transfer all of that data to your lender of choice that's the number 2 or number 3 without having to go through that pain all over again, which is where hopefully, again, we can give you that time saving, but also give you that confidence that it is worth trying something new. And for a lender like Skipton, knowing your proposition, hopefully that will drive a huge amount of value for you out there in the market as well. And ultimately, you can see from some of the stats that I've pulled out at the bottom that this is starting to take off. So Chris mentioned acronyms at the start of the presentation. Everyone's been talking about APIs for the last 3, 5, probably longer years. But thankfully, we're now getting to a place across the market where these APIs are now available. People are utilizing them, and you're going to see more collaboration across different parties trying to connect the pieces for you. We've added more and more lenders to our offering this year. You can see that the submissions there are quite significant, definitely compared to where they are 12 months ago. So this is now trending in the right direction, and APIs are now real. They aren't fictional, they are out there in the market. So like I said, if you haven't given it a go, I would highly recommend it, because you may feel that it could completely change how you want to engage with lenders moving forward. But also, as Chris said, this isn't about just delivering one single journey. It's about giving you different channels. This may work for one lender, it may not work for another. But hopefully, if we can give you some time back each week, that gives you the opportunity to have more engagement with your customer rather than spending time on online portals, and also pick up another mortgage case or another protection case. Okay, so it should start giving back to you as well. This isn't just about technology providers promoting their own cause. That's everything I wanted to hopefully share with you. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Nathan. So could we have the next slide, please? So I'm conscious of time, so I'm just going to rattle through this for a couple of minutes, and then we've got 5 minutes to take any questions. But that's a really good example of connectivity and data sharing. But there's also other aspects of kind of the mortgage journey where many lenders have been focusing in order to remove the need for broker or customer to provide us with verification, documentation. Again, just trying to make this as slick as possible. And over kind of the last year, 18 months, we've introduced things like automated income verification, removing the need for us to obtain payslips in some instances, automated ID verification, which currently we, in about 93% of cases, we don't need ID and residency documents. We've enhanced our use of AVMs, giving point of submission decisioning from a property risk validation point of view, really supporting aspirations around sort of day one offers, and moved to kind of real-time fraud scoring and AML checks, which is pretty dull, but that stuff's got to happen in the background, and it can sometimes hold up a case progressing forward to a binding offer. The opportunity and challenge there is, as a lender, the opportunity for us means we can do things faster for you and, improve service standards. But as Nathan said, the opportunity is getting to a place where in the market we're able to enable a customer or broker just to do this once, and that's be able to be passed through the chain, removing the need for that repetition. And some of the initiatives which we will work on in the coming year, we've talked about sourcing system integration, working with conveyancers to re-onboard them where due diligence is needed. Again, pretty dull, but this stuff has to happen. That can hold cases up, particularly in the purchase segment. The green agenda is absolutely key also, because not only from a products perspective, making sure that we put the right products out there for you and for customers, but there is a social responsibility on us as lenders to make sure that we're supporting customers, improving the sustainability of their homes, of our stock, and we understand the efficiency of our backbook and the applications which we receive, the acquisition profile. And that will become more and more prevalent sort of over the years to come. So I think you can expect quite a lot of talk and chat and new technologies sort of in the green space that will support the sustainability agenda. And document reading tech's also another interesting one. So we've talked there about data sharing and the removal of manual inputs for the broker. But there is also an opportunity in document reading, which means that in some instances the broker may not need to input anything. You can just show us, and technology has got the availability to extract what is needed and push it through to the right party within the mortgage value chain. And I suppose my final point before we pause for questions is that technology shouldn't always just be about transformation. We shouldn't forget the day-to-day journeys and the day-to-day processes, and enhanced administrative functionality is something which we will be looking at here. It's a busy market, as I'm sure you're all aware, and we need to spot those day-to-day processes. So for us as a lender, equal amounts of investment in our kind of day-to-day BAU alongside strategic transformational change is absolutely key.